There's a rule almost everyone believes about money and jobs. When prices go up, people are usually working. When work dries up, prices usually come down. One problem or the other, almost never both at the same time. Now imagine both of them hit you at once. Your paycheck buys a little less every month. Your job starts to look shaky, and the people whose entire job is to fix this realize that everything they try makes one half of the disaster worse. There's a name for it. It's the single most dreaded word an economy can hear: stagflation. If you understand why stagflation breaks everything, you understand why so many people lose money during it without ever seeing it coming. So let me show you how it happens, why it traps the very people meant to stop it, and what it means for the money sitting in your accounts right now. Picture a city built entirely on acorns. Acorns are the money. Every squirrel spends them, saves them, borrows them, dreams about them. For as long as anyone can remember, Acorn City has had a system that just works. At the top of the tallest oak sits the Great Storage Reserve, and the reserve has one job: keep the balance. Not too many acorns chasing too few goods, which pushes prices up, not too little spending, which strangles work. Hold the line, in the middle. Meet one squirrel. She gathers acorns for a living. She keeps a careful pile locked in the savings vault. She's slowly paying off her tree home with borrowed acorns, a few extra owed to the debt office every month. She trusts the cycle because the cycle has never failed her. And here is the cycle she trusts. Prices get out of hand, the reserve makes borrowing more expensive. Squirrels borrow less, spending cools down, prices fall back to earth. Work dries up instead, the reserve makes borrowing cheaper. Squirrels go out and spend, businesses expand, and the jobs come back. One lever, one problem, fixed. That rule is not something the city invented. It's based on a real idea from our world, an observation first written down in 1958 by an economist named A.W. Phillips. He noticed that historically, when unemployment was low, prices tended to rise, and when unemployment was high, prices tended to fall. Two problems that pulled against each other. Pick your pain. For decades, entire governments built their plans on that one idea, and for a long time, it mostly held. So what would it take to break a rule that sturdy? A winter arrives that nobody planned for. A long, brutal frost rolls through the valley, and it kills a stretch of the trees that bear the acorns. This is the part that matters, so stay with me. Acorns haven't gotten expensive because squirrels are spending too much. They've gotten expensive because there are physically fewer of them. The trees just didn't produce. And when something real and scarce becomes harder to get, the cost of getting it goes up. The gathering squirrels now have to work twice as hard for half the haul, so they charge more. They have to. The acorn market prices start climbing week after week, and here is the first uncomfortable truth of stagflation creeping in. This is inflation that did not come from too much spending. You cannot cool it down by telling squirrels to buy less because they are not the ones who broke anything. The supply broke. The goods themselves broke. Have you ever noticed that the worst kind of price rise is the one you did nothing to cause? You can change your habits, spend less, be careful, and it barely moves because the problem was never your spending. Now acorns are expensive, so squirrels buy less of everything else. Farm Valley slows down. The farms don't need as many workers. The gathering crews shrink. And suddenly, for the first time anyone in the city can remember, the two things that were never supposed to happen together are happening together. Prices are up, jobs are down, at the exact same time. At first, nobody believes it. The mayor's hall insists it's temporary. The Acorn Exchange keeps bouncing up and down like it can't decide what story to tell. A few loud squirrels announce that the old rule still holds and this will fix itself. That denial phase is dangerous. It is the moment where people keep doing the normal thing, waiting for the normal fix, while the ground keeps shifting under them. This is the moment the great storage reserve reaches for its levers and goes cold. Think about it. If they make borrowing more expensive to cool the prices, what happens to the work that is already vanishing? It dies faster. And if they make borrowing cheaper to save the jobs, what happens to the prices that are already climbing? They catch fire. Every lever points the wrong way. Fix one side and you tear open the other. The very tool the whole city trusted to keep the balance has become a choice between two kinds of pain. Here is something that should sit uncomfortably with you. The people in charge are not stupid. They are trapped. And a trap with smart people inside it is still a trap. That is the thing the news never explains. When a central bank looks frozen or confused during stagflation, it is not incompetence. It is that they are holding two levers and both of them are wrong. Now watch what this does to one careful squirrel who did everything right. Her savings vault. She saved the way you are supposed to save, but every week the same number of acorns buys her less food, less fuel, less of everything. Her pile is not shrinking in number, it is shrinking in what it can actually do for her. The vault never warned her, because the number on the statement looks exactly the same. That is the cruelty of it. Cash feels safe right up until the moment you realize prices have outrun it. Her farm ownership shares. In a normal slowdown, you might lean on your investments, but the farms are slowing too, and her shares are sliding right along with the work. The place she expected to fall back on is falling with everything else. And the debt office. She still owes the same extra acorns every month on her tree home, a fixed number, while her income from gathering is suddenly uncertain. The debt doesn't care that times are hard, it just wants what it is owed. So look at her position. Her savings are losing real value, her shares are sliding, her debt is unchanged, her income is wobbling. Is there anywhere left in this city that still feels safe? Because this is what stagflation actually does to regular people. It doesn't hit one thing, it hits all of them at once, and it quietly removes every hiding place you were ever told existed. Picture her neighbor for a second. He didn't save much. He piled everything into farm ownership shares because someone told him shares always go up. He's in worse shape because the thing he bet everything on is exactly the thing that's sliding. There is no perfectly safe move here, but there are clearly worse ones, and betting everything on a single idea is the worst of them. What would you do in her place? And I mean that literally, not as a rhetorical question, because most people freeze right here, and freezing is the most expensive thing you can do in stagflation. Prices don't freeze with you. Eventually, the reserve makes a call, and it is brutal. They raise the cost of borrowing acorns hard, and they hold it there for as long as it takes. They know exactly what this does. It will choke off even more work. More squirrels will lose their gathering jobs. Families will struggle. The decision is made with eyes wide open, knowing it hurts, because the alternative is letting prices run until the acorn itself becomes a joke nobody trusts. They are taking the recession on purpose, trading jobs now to kill the price spiral. Because here's the honest truth that nobody likes to say out loud. No one has ever found a painless way out of stagflation. There is no clever trick, no genius at the top of the tree who suddenly spots a third lever. The only way through is through, and through hurts a lot of careful people on the way. The city will recover. But a lot of squirrels will remember this winter for the rest of their lives. Now, pull back, because this is not a story about squirrels. This exact pattern played out for real in the 1970s. Oil got scarce. A supply shock hit the whole world. Prices soared, and unemployment climbed right alongside them, exactly the way the old rule said it shouldn't. The Phillips trade-off didn't just bend, it collapsed. And it took Paul Volcker at the Federal Reserve pushing interest rates close to 20% to finally break the back of it. Stop and feel that number for a second. Think about what borrowing anything looked like at 20%. Mortgages, car loans, business credit, all of it crushing. And yes, it triggered a painful recession. That was the price. Volcker decided the country would take the pain now rather than let prices run until the dollar meant nothing. He broke the storm by flying straight into it. So why should any of this matter to your money in 2026? Because the whispers are back. Wholesale prices just posted their biggest annual jump since late 2022, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. New jobless claims are ticking up. A legendary forecaster named Gary Shilling is publicly warning that a recession looks almost inevitable. Smart, careful people are saying the word stagflation out loud again, the word everyone agreed belonged to history. Maybe it passes. Maybe the shock fades and the old rule snaps back into place. That is possible. But stagflation is exactly the risk where being wrong is expensive, and being right but not prepared is just as expensive. Because here is what it does to the two things you have always been told to rely on. Safe cash stops being safe when prices outrun it, and a central bank rescue stops working when the rescue itself is the thing pouring fuel on prices. Both of your usual lifeboats spring a leak at the exact same time. Do you see why so many people get caught? They wait for the normal fix. The normal fix doesn't come, or worse, it comes in a form that hurts them on the way to saving them. So here is the one thing to carry with you. Stagflation punishes anyone who decided that high prices and no jobs cannot show up together. That assumption is the trap. The whole disaster runs on people still believing the old rule holds when it has already snapped. The move that survives it looks different. You hold real assets, things that can keep pace when prices run, instead of trusting cash to stand still for you. You guard your income and you spread it across more than one source, because a single stream of earnings gets very fragile when work gets scarce. And you never, ever mistake the number in your account for what that number can actually buy you. That gap between the number you have saved and what it's actually worth is where entire life savings quietly disappear. Not in a crash, not in a single dramatic moment, just slowly, winter after winter, while the statement looks fine. So let me leave you with the same question I started with. If prices kept climbing and work kept vanishing at the same time, what is the first thing you would move? The people who answer that question before they have to are the ones who sleep through the winter everyone else is panicking through.